Okay, so as promised, we are staying in Switzerland, and now we're looking at FC Sion, who play in the city of Sion in Switzerland, out of the Stade de Tourbillon, which has a capacity of 14,283. Now, this club is very, very interesting for a variety of reasons. Now, the club itself is founded in 1909 by a guy called Robert Gilliard, who became the first ever captain and future vice president of the club later on. He founded the club and more locals joined, and that's their foundation story. Now, they currently play in the Swiss Challenge League, which is their version of the Championship. It's the second tier. They were relegated at the end of last season, as of recording of this video. But this is where we have some interesting facts. Now, they won 13 consecutive cup finals that they appeared in, and then they finally lost one. So their record in the Swiss Cup is ridiculous. They've won 13 out of 14 appearances in the final, and that's where they win most of their silverware. But a bit of an awkward moment of the club happened between 2008 and 2011. They wanted to sign a player in 2008, and there was some registration issues, and then they had to go to the Court of Arbitration of Sport to overturn the domestic Swiss FA's decision on that player's registration, and also 6 other contracts. It dragged on for many, many years between 2008 and 2011, resulting in a 36-point deduction for the 2010-2011 season. Had they not had that deduction, they would have finished third overall in the league that year. They had to go into the relegation promotion playoff at the end of the 2010-2011 season. So a 36-point deduction. So there are fans right now in English football of Reading, Nottingham Forest and Everton who are not happy with the points deductions their clubs have had over the last little while. Everton have had 2 points deductions this season, Nottingham Forest have had a points deduction, and Reading have had multiple points deductions over the last couple of years for basically rule breaches off the field. But imagine a 36 points deduction for some player contracts. Yeah, that was the transfer ban saga. Dark stain on the club. There was legal action, Court of Arbitration for Sport. The Swiss League and the Swiss FA wanted to ban these players from playing and rip up these contracts. I'll have to do a little bit more digging into the transfer ban saga, but a 36-point deduction after a 3-year drag-on process. So it makes the Man City 115 charges, that's going to drag on forever, look pretty tame in comparison when you have 36 points knocked off. I'll have to do some more digging on that on a separate video. Now, their honours list is very, very interesting because they have won the Swiss League title a couple of times, but it's the Swiss Cup where they win a lot. But this side was actually a very, very good side in the 90s. They win a lot in the Cup, but they also win both their league titles in the 1990s. They were a very, very solid side throughout the 90s, winning a lot of silverware. So they first win the Swiss League in the 91-92 season. So it takes a very, very long time for the side to win their first ever league title. But they win it again in the 96-97 season. So the league lack of success there. They've only won a couple of league titles, but it's the Swiss Cup where they have 13 of them. And they've won 13 out of 14 finals they've appeared in since 1965, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Basel are the only team to beat them, and that was in 2017 in the Swiss Cup final. They've won all the others. That is absolutely stunning as a win percentage in a competition. So they first win the Swiss Cup in the 1964-65 season. They win it again in the 73-74 season. Then again in the 79-1980 season. And then again in the 81-82 season. Backing it up in the 85-86 season. And then they had their very successful period in the 90s where they win a lot. The 1990-91 season, the 94-95 season, the 95-96 season, the 96-97 season, League and Cup double, which is, again, as I say, really hard to do in any league. Very hard to do that historically. A bit of a gap, 2005-2006 season, 2008-2009 season, and this is the period where we are now having this transfer saga. So it does impact the on-field product because they don't win again for a couple of seasons until 2010-2011, and then their final major trophy is in 2014-2015 season. They lose in the 2016-2017 final to Basel, but that is a ridiculous record in the Swiss Cup, winning 13 consecutive finals that they appeared in. That I don't think you would find another side with that kind of win percentage and lengthy unbeaten run in finals. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that they've only ever lost one final that they've appeared in a cup competition. I don't think you'll find another side that's done that with the amount of finals they've appeared in. That is utterly... I mean, Leicester City have a terrible record in cup finals, only winning the one out of, I think, 7 FA Cup final appearances, although they have won a lot of League Cups. But I don't think you'll find a win streak like that in professional. Even with the great Real Madrid side that we've seen in the Champions League, I don't think you'll find a side that bloody good in a cup competition ever. That is ridiculous. So overall, they've only won the 15 major trophies, but you can sort of see that, that impact with that transfer saga. 2 of those 3 seasons they were involved in that. They had a slight impact because in one of them they didn't win anything in a very dominant spell in the Swiss Cup in the 90s and the 2000s. That transfer saga ultimately did have an impact on the side, and now they are currently playing in the Swiss second tier, which is the Swiss Challenge League. So there's still aftermaths of that. There was a lot of court cases, a lot of money spent at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which probably would have hampered the side and the club in building a more competitive side. But a 36-point deduction, again, is ridiculous. So we'll see what happens with some of the other clubs in English football, with some of the potential points deductions coming their way. But 36 points deducted over a transfer. Ridiculous. And then there'll be those who remember West Ham with Mascherano and Tevez and the Sheffield United appeals against that transfer and registration of players. FC Sion had some similar issues at a roughly the same time, a couple of seasons after that. But there we go. There's a brief look at the history of FC Sion. Ridiculous record in the Swiss Cup. And they've won 15 major trophies in their history. So it does go to show that the silverware in Swiss football does get pretty distributed. And I was actually looking at the Swiss League titles. Many clubs have won the Swiss League title. One of them is a merger of 2 clubs that have won the Swiss League title, which I'll do a video on in due course. But the Swiss League is surprisingly more competitive than people realise. But for me, for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.